Creating a traffic-grabbing title. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to create a traffic-grabbing title using your keywords as well as benefits and features. Your product title is the most important text on your listing. It is the best place to tell Amazon what your product is. And it's also the best place to tell your customer what your product is. It currently has the highest weight in terms of keyword ranking, so the words in your title are the most important when it comes to ranking your product on Amazon. And it's also useful for encouraging the click on the search pages. In other words, customers see your title, and if it looks appealing on the search pages, they click on it. And relevancy is critically important. We did mention this in a previous lesson, but it is so important. The title must be readable and not keyword stuffed. In other words, it should flow and make sense and not just be a bunch of random words. Title rules. The product title must not exceed a maximum of 200 characters, including spaces. And do not include subjective terms such as hot, best, first, anything along those lines. And do not include promotional messages such as sale or free. Also, do not include the price and quantity. And do not include special characters or symbols like the copyright symbol. Great title principles. Include your brand name. It looks professional. And not only that, Amazon really wants your brand name in your title too. Include your most important keyword early in your title. Include as many other keywords that you can reasonably fit. But remember, it has to be readable and write for real people. Yes, we want to use the title to get traffic using Amazon's algorithm, but if it doesn't make sense to people, it's not going to convert. If needed, use hyphens to make your title more readable. And make sure everything in your title is relevant to your product. And also include some benefits to help conversion. Optimizing your title. Unlike many sellers, we optimize our product title for both Amazon and our customers. The normal way is just to have the brand name, product name, and model. The ASM way is brand name, keyword-rich product name, keyword-rich features, and keyword-rich benefits. This is ideal, but might not always be possible depending on your product and especially the category. But again, don't overdo keywords. There's a real customer looking at your title. Category restrictions. Amazon announced that the maximum number of characters will be 200 for any category. However, officially, according to their style guides, some categories have title restrictions as low as 100 or even 50 characters. Now, we have found that you can exceed this when setting up your listing. We recommend you create the best title you can, but be prepared to shorten it if required to do so by Amazon. Shortening your title. If Amazon shorten your title, then you need to change the formula since you won't have enough space. Use brand name, product main keyword, key features. Essentially, we're removing benefits from the equation. If you are only left with enough space for one feature, then choose the best feature of your product. Benefits and features. So it is important you distinguish between features and benefits. Here is a simple example of both. A feature, bike pump with gauge. The benefit, helps inflate your tire to the correct pressure. So let's go do this. Now we will create our title right now, but we won't add it to Amazon until we have all the other content ready so we can update everything at the same time. Okay, so Helium 10 has a really cool tool. It's called Scribbles, and you'll find it underneath Frankenstein. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in our list of keywords into this box on the left. Okay, so I've zoomed in a little bit just to make it a bit easier for you to see. So you can see all our keywords here. Don't be worried if you haven't got this many keywords. This is a lot of keywords. But we're actually going to write our title in the title box over here on the right. And basically when we use a word from this box, it will remove it. And that's really key because we don't want to repeat any words in our title if at all possible. The title is such important real estate when it comes to keywords. We don't want to duplicate words. You will see a lot of examples all over Amazon of people using the same word in their title 3 or 4 times because they think it's more likely to rank. It is not the case. Amazon don't give any extra weight if you've got the keyword in your title more than once. So the first thing we're going to do is we want our brand and we want a keyword-rich product name. Now, for your keyword-rich product name, it doesn't necessarily follow that the words you want in that product name are at the top of the list. And that's one of the reasons I choose the mini bike pump, to show you this example. Obviously, bike pump are the two most important words we want in our title because they're the first two that come up. So I do want bike pump in there. However, my bike pump is a mini bike pump. It's not the same as all the others. It's important that your main keyword reflects your product exactly. So I'm actually going to choose mini bike pump. You can see it. We've got bike pump here and mini is in the first line too. I could also use portable. I'm not sure. It's in here somewhere. There it is on the third line. But I think mini is the best one. So I'm just going to type in mini bike pump. You can see that mini and bike have both disappeared. The reason pump hasn't is because the cursor is right after the P. So if I push the space bar, you can see that pump has gone as well. And then I'm just going to put my brand name in. So I'm putting by, and if you remember, the brand I created was Outdoor Squared. So we've made a good start. We've actually got our brand name and our keyword rich product name. Now, quite often Amazon will take your title if you submit it like this and reverse it. They'll actually put Outdoor Squared mini bike pump, and that's fine. In an ideal world, we want our keyword to be the first thing in the title. But if Amazon changed that around, it's perfectly okay. So now we're looking for keyword rich features. So we want to look through the keywords and look for features of our product. Now, even though the example I showed you at the beginning didn't have a gauge, we're going to assume that my product does have a gauge because it just makes it easier for you to see what we're doing. So I want to put pressure gauge in there. So I'm actually going to put a dash in there just to split this up a bit. Now we want to write this, and you can see we've got the total characters up here. We're going to write this, and quite probably we'll go over the 200. And then we're going to look at how we can remove or change things around to get it down to 200. So we can see we've got tire right at the beginning here, bicycle kit. So we will want to use the word bicycle. I'm going to put in tire pressure gauge because that takes care of 3 of the first 6 keywords. So as you can see, this wonderful tool has just now removed those words, so we don't need to worry about them anymore. And let's see if we can find some more features. So the valve I know is important because it means it's compatible with Presta and also the other brand, which is here somewhere. And I know you're looking at the screen now going, there it is. And I'm just not seeing it right now. It's Schrader. And there it is. It's Schrader. So that's something we could put in. So we've got repair and kit both at the beginning. So I'm going to add and repair kit. So I've added repair kit, so those words have disappeared now. You can see we're at 71, we're not even halfway yet, so we can probably get in another feature. And I'll do like valve frame, because we know it's frame mounted, portable, we could probably get that in, but we might be able to use that as a benefit. Got needles, it's got 3 separate needles. So Presta and Schrader, they could be features, but they could also be benefits. And we're going to be using mountain for mountain bikes, and maybe even BMX. That will be a benefit. So actually I'm just going to put in Presta and Schrader valve compatible, and as you can see Presta and Schrader and valve have all gone. Now just to point out here, so I've got tire pressure gauge and repair kit, Presta and Schrader valve compatible. Now I haven't put a comma in there. You don't want to be using commas in your title. I could put a dash in, but we'll see what happens once I've finished the title off, and then we can have a closer look because we've only got 90 characters left now. So we've got the word electric. So I'm actually going to talk about bikes it works with. So let's try works with electric, really can't spell, with electric bicycle and road, mountain and BMX bikes. So I've got rid of the 3 types of bikes there. And I've also got rid of the word bikes. That should be capital B. And what have we got left? See, we've only got 30 characters left, so we're getting to the end here. So ideally, I'd like to get in another benefit. Portable, we could use portable, I guess, but we've got mini in there already. Emergency, I kind of like that emergency, and I'd like to get needle in. So I'm going to get the adapter in here. So we do want something in here. We want a benefit that makes us stand out a bit from the crowd. And I do know from looking at reviews of other bike pumps, there's an issue with air loss, and there's also an issue with the pump falling off the frame mount. So I'm going to see if I can actually get that in. So how about we put in specialized adapter, put a dash for now. I know we're going to go over the limit here, but then we can work with things. Specialized adapter prevents air loss. Because air, if you remember, appeared everywhere. I'm not saying it's the best keyword for us, it's going to make conversions or anything on those lines, but at the end of the day, it was a very common keyword. So we're now at 209, so we would have to lose 9 characters, but I just want to check to see if there's anything else that jumps out at me. I would like to use mount, but, at the end of the day, we are restricted with how much room we can use. Just trying to think, Presto and Schrader valve compatible. Compatible is quite a long word, really no use to us other than making it read well. I'm going to go with this for now. Now, I've just done this in a few minutes. You should take your time with this. By all means, write out a title that's some 300 characters long and then start looking at what you could remove. And the other thing I touched on as well, when you were selecting your product, you should have already been looking at competitors' reviews, to see how you could improve your product and that kind of thing. So you should have a fairly good idea for your own product. But looking at reviews and basically trying to make your product stand out from the crowd is pretty key, and that's what I've tried to do with this last comment here. Specialized adapter prevents air loss. So let's see if I can get rid of some characters. So I'm looking for words that aren't keywords that I can make short or compatible. Oh, and a really good tip here, go to the thesaurus, the online thesaurus, and use compatible and see if you can find a shorter one. But I've actually seen one right here, which is prevents. Change that to stops. So now we're down to 206. How about I just remove the word and? Just read it out loud is always a good idea to see if it reads well or not. Mini bike pump by Outdoor Square, tire pressure gauge and repair kit, Presta and Schrader valve compatible, works with electric bicycle, road, mountain and BMX bikes, specialized adapter stops air loss. It doesn't sound too bad. Yes, this bit here where it goes repair kit, Presta and Schrader valve isn't the best. I could put a dash in here, but right now I haven't got the characters to do so. But generally speaking, read it out loud, see how it sounds. And something else I touched on in one of the earlier lessons, which I just want to reinforce here, and that is, if we look at this part here, works with electric bicycle, road, mountain and BMX bikes. Amazon is smart enough that they will put road and bikes together. They will have your product indexed and ranked for road bikes, even though the word bikes doesn't come straight after road. Amazon's algorithm is perfectly smart enough to pick all these words up and figure out all the keywords that they can be used for. For instance, another example, if someone was searching for a specialized mini bike pump, then just because specialized is at the end and after mini bike pump, it doesn't mean it won't get picked up by Amazon. Amazon will still pick it up. So I still need to get rid of 2 characters. I could just ditch the dashes. Can't stop looking at this Presto and Schrader valve compatible. So as you can see, I've just gone to thesaurus.com, just have a quick look. All these words are really long, but you can see here the word fitting, so I'm wondering if I can use fits. And how about I put in fits, Presta and Schrader valve. Let me get rid of compatible. And all of a sudden we've actually got 4 spare words. So essentially that's how you play around with this title. Here's the really important thing. You're not going to get it perfect first time. What you are going to be doing, and with everything we do here, not just the title, but also the bullet points and the description, as time goes by and you get more information, and especially about keywords, you're going to be updating and optimizing it. The main thing is make sure you've got your keyword-rich product name. It's the most important thing. And some keyword-rich features too. If you're not restricted, then also get some benefits in there as well. And always try and use as much of the keywords as you can. Now, we're going to be using a lot more of these in our bullet points, but for your title, you are restricted. You've only got 200 characters. And as you can see, that just means 34 words. And because we have to use words that aren't keywords to make it flow and sound okay, then it is pretty restrictive. But do the best you can. If you follow the formula and you've got your keywords, you will do a decent enough job to make sure that when you launch your product, you will have a listing that converts. So we covered how to create a traffic grabbing title for your listing using your keywords and benefits and features. Next, you will discover how to create your bullet points, which after the title is the second most important area of text. Your action step, follow what you've seen in this lesson, create and save your product title, and we'll be using it when we go ahead and update all the elements on our quick listing. But that's it for this lesson. Take care.